This is a simple summary on how your thyroid works, how it makes thyroid hormones, and how it affects your Hashimoto's. This is also why ordering just TSH for your Hashimoto's is not enough. If you're just diagnosed with Hashimoto's, it's common to think that it's a thyroid disease, but it's actually an immune system disease that affects your thyroid. So with Hashimoto's, it's important to know how your thyroid works, but it is not the main treatment target. The main treatment target would be your immune system. This video is part of a Hashimoto's Basics series to help you understand how Hashimoto's works and how it affects different systems in your body. So the main function of your thyroid is to make thyroid hormones. So this is your thyroid, and please excuse my drawings. I am a naturopathic doctor, not an illustrator, so these are going to be super basic drawings. Thyroid. Now, your thyroid gets signals from your brain, and one of those signals is TSH. That is from your pituitary. Your TSH is going to tell your thyroid to make thyroid hormones. The main two thyroid hormones that it makes are T4, and it makes very little T3, but majority is going to be T4. Now, some of the things that your thyroid needs to make T4 are things like iodine. It also needs, what else does it need? Oh, it needs tyrosine. It also needs iron. So those are some of the building blocks it needs in order to make T4 and T3. Now, the majority of T4 and T3 are bound. Now, T4 is the inactive form, and T3 is the active form. Now, majority of the T4 is bound to a protein when it's released into the bloodstream. So it has to travel to other tissues in order to get converted into T3. So T4 has to go to other tissues, and that would be places like the liver, your gut, skeletal muscle, your brain. And when it reaches these tissues, then they can convert the T4 into T3 as needed. So they have more control over their metabolism and what each certain tissue actually needs. So let's do that here. So these go T4 to T3. Now these T3 are still bound to a protein. So receptors can only bind free T3 and free T4. So there is a process in here where they lose that protein that they are attached to. So this protein goes away, and then they are free to bind to the receptors, and then that is what affects metabolism and your energy. And free T4, I'll write this, I don't know if you can see that. We'll go free T4 is what actually affects TSH. So that is why that usually gets tested as well too. But you can see how you need all of these in a full thyroid panel to give you a really good picture of what is actually going on with your thyroid. Now with Hashimoto's, the immune system will attack your thyroid cells here and will damage it, and then that will affect your thyroid hormone levels. So it's going to affect your ability, again, Hashimoto's is going to affect your ability to make thyroid hormones, which is why your TSH is going to go up, because it's your brain telling your thyroid to make more thyroid hormones. But it can't because it's getting damaged by the Hashimoto's. So that is that. That's your immune system. And then increases TSH, and that's one way that you become hypothyroid. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So your brain, specifically your pituitary, is going to send TSH to your thyroid to tell it to make more thyroid hormones. Now, it makes a majority of T4 with very little T3, and a majority of those thyroid hormones are bound to a protein. When it gets released into the bloodstream, it goes to the tissues that it needs to go to, and that gets converted from T4 into T3, which is the active form. Now, at some point, it loses its transporter and becomes free. Now, that free T3 can then bind to receptors and also free T4 as well. And free T4 will also go back and basically tell your brain whether or not it needs more hormones or to slow down. And with Hashimoto's, it is going to affect your thyroid and thyroid cells, and that's going to affect the levels of your thyroid hormone, which is why it increases TSH, basically telling your thyroid to make more thyroid hormones, and that is why, or one of the ways that you can become hypothyroid. So I hope that was helpful. It was a very simple, basic breakdown of what your thyroid does and how it makes hormones. And if you want my step-by-step plan on how to reverse Hashimoto symptoms naturally, then click on the link below in the description to learn more about my program, and make sure to subscribe and follow for more.